Hi Aries, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy, and this is your general reading for the first half of October 2019. Welcome to everyone here. This is for the fire sign of Aries for the first half of October 2019. If you have a sun sign in Aries, rising sign in Aries, moon sign in Aries, if your Venus is in Aries, or if you are cross-watching for an Aries. Welcome everyone. Thanks for taking the time to tune in today. For those of you who send in all your support, feedback, comments, likes, shares, subscribes, thank you so very much. And always thank you for to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for continuing to keep me so busy with personal readings. It's always an honor and a pleasure. If any of you are interested in scheduling a personal reading with me, you can click on the description link below for more info and contact details. Email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I can usually respond to initial inquiries within the same day or the first 24 hours, and scheduling is pretty timely too. I'm blessed to be able to do readings full-time, 6 days a week. It's all that I do, so I'm pretty diligent at working with people's schedules and my own to get you readings as quickly as possible. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo as well, so you could download that on your smartphone. They now have it for, I believe, the Galaxy phones as well, Androids. So that's another option to choose from. So, fire sign of Aries for the first half of October 2019. As many of you know, personal readings, general readings, sorry, not personal readings, the general YouTube readings usually resonate a little differently for everybody watching, because there's so many of you watching and there's so many different things going on in everybody's lives. So watch your other videos for your other signs if you know them and if you can, because it can provide additional clarification. Your rising sign, moon sign, Venus sign. It can all help give you bigger pieces of what's going on in your life to help aid in any decisions you need to make moving forward. So try to watch your other sign videos if you know them. Okay, Aries, let's see what the first half of October has in store for you. And the energy feels a little odd, Aries. My brain keeps kind of stuttering here. All right, we begin with the Page of Swords, followed by the Seven of Swords. We have the Four of Pentacles, followed by the Ace of Cups. From the bottom of the deck, your overall energy for the first half of October is the Nine of Swords. I always say when this Nine of Swords comes up that I don't like what this card represents. It's a lot of stress, anxiety, worry. We have three sword cards here, one Pentacles, one Cup. And I believe we'll pull some clarifiers too. Swords is governed by the element of air in the tarot. And this is all about what goes on up in our heads. The Suit of Swords is often about how we think, what we believe, our belief systems, our ideologies, our perceptions, our perspectives, because that completely affects the way that we see the world, people in the world, and how we communicate our own words and ideas outwards. So the Suit of Swords is about what goes on up in here. It's also about truth, higher learning, education, wisdom, clarification, mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. This is a card of too many thoughts, obsessive thoughts, worry, concern, anxiety, fear. Not being able to sleep at night because of it. It's just kind of consuming, obsessively dwelling on something, fearing the future which hasn't unfolded yet. What am I going to do if this happens? What do I do if this doesn't happen? Trying to imagine what's going to happen, and it's almost always the worst possible outcome. It is somewhat unrealistic energy, meaning that the energy of swords is thoughts. It's in our head. So even though whatever is keeping you up at night, whatever is causing all this stress, anxiety, and worry, the source might, it might be a valid concern or a valid source, but the Nine of Swords comes up when you're thinking about it too much. You're fearing the absolute worst possible outcome. You're spending too much time dwelling on it, usually in negativity. Now, you can see there's an owl sitting on the windowsill here, very close to this woman. close enough that she could just about reach out and touch it, but she can't see it. Why? Because she's completely hunched over in this protective, fearful position. She's completely consumed with whatever it is that's driving her, these thoughts, these fears. Now, owls, everything on a tarot card is symbolic, absolutely everything. You could spend hours just talking about each tarot card. But owls are one of those universal symbols for, you know, wisdom, a solution, insight, clarity of some kind. So I feel like, number one, it's not as bad as this, Aries. My beautiful Rams, Aries. It is not as bad as this. And two, I feel like if you pull back some of this phenomenal energy you're putting into thinking about the negative and dwelling on this, and take a look around and start thinking maybe about solutions, there is some wisdom and a solution and insight in this situation. But your focus, so much of your focus, because 10s represent cycle completion, so 9 represents a lot of energy. All of your energy is focused on the thoughts, the worries, the fears, instead of kind of pulling some of that back and taking a look around and saying, now, wait a minute, what else is there going on in this situation? Is there some other kind of wisdom or insight or solution? Because there is something very close right there. So it's about kind of cutting back on this mental energy and not focusing so obsessively in one negative area. And I feel like a lot of you are keeping it all inside too. Don't shoot the messenger. But I feel like you are. We have the Page of Swords and the Seven of Swords here. So pages usually represent messages, messengers. The Page of Swords is... pages usually represent being at the introductory phase of something, you know, the start of something, because pages are youthful energy. They're just starting out, student apprentices. The Page of Swords is just learning how to communicate well. He's just learning how to get his thoughts out his mouth in a cohesive way. The Page of Swords can also represent sometimes being in a dilemma, a moral or ethical dilemma, and trying to figure out what the right thing is to do, what the right thing is to say, and how to do that. Now, it's clarified by the Seven of Swords, which is a card of secrecy, concealment. It's sometimes referred to as the theft, deception, lie card, the thief card. It can represent, you know, theft or exploitation, or somebody presenting something or circumstances to be one thing, but they're lying, and in fact it's something else, or somebody hiding. But this sword kind of gets a bad rap in that way. It can represent that someone is keeping something to themselves because they have a goal they want to accomplish, and they're kind of operating under the grid or in secrecy, or just withholding for a specific reason. And there's not anything necessarily wrong with that as long as it's not harming you or someone else. But I feel like it is here, because I feel like some of you may want to talk about this situation, because I feel like it involves another person. And I feel like some of you may want to have a communication conversation with this person, but you're withholding it. You're keeping it inside, maybe because you're afraid that you can't say it the right way, or the way that you want to say it, or you're not sure how to say it. So you're just kind of not talking. Or you might just be saying little things, but not really talking about what's important. That stuff I really do feel like you're withholding, Aries. But I think it's maybe about fear of what to say and how to say it. And I feel like you're being very guarded and kind of closed off because of it. It feels like you have a lot of fear and worry and anxiety about a situation, perhaps a relationship with another person. But again, you're keeping the majority of it inside. Maybe, you know, on the outside, getting things done and saying what you need to say, and, you know, in terms of getting, you know, taking care of the day-to-day aspects of your life. But you're keeping something inside. You're maybe holding on, or being protective of your thoughts, your feelings, protective of yourself, not willing maybe to open up and to share a bit more, particularly emotionally. I feel like this is a relationship with another person. I just got Leo in my head for some reason. Maybe some of you are in a relationship with a Leo or another fire sign. Because we have the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups here. So the Four of Pentacles is a card of holding on. Sometimes the Four can represent stability, and sometimes it can represent stagnancy. But the Four of Pentacles is sometimes nicknamed the miser card. It can represent in a financial and material matter. It's about, being very miserly, frugal, economical, really holding on. It's about holding on to what makes you feel safe, because Pentacles is governed by the element of earth. And in the tarot, the suit of Pentacles is often about the things that make us feel stable and secure in the structure of our life. Money, finance, property, real estate, assets, job, the works we put into those things, long-term, steady, stable relationships, friendships, career paths, the things that make us feel safe and stable. This man is holding on to what makes him feel safe and stable. For some of you, it might be money or finances or your emotions or feelings, because in a relationship, the Four of Pentacles can represent somebody who's guarded, who's protected. Sometimes I see the Four of Pentacles come up when somebody has been quite hurt or lost quite a bit in their past, and so they become very protective of what they have, whether it's their finances or their property or their heart, their emotions, feelings. They're kind of protective and guarded and not willing to kind of open up and let go. And what clarifies the Four of Pentacles, what's being held on to, is the Ace of Cups. Aces represent the number one, so they represent the start of something, the beginning of a new path. Cups is water energy, and this is energy of the heart, so this is emotional energy. The Ace of Cups can represent new love and romance. Perhaps you're holding on to things from the past that are preventing you from entering into a new relationship. But I feel the Ace of Cups represents an emotion, the beginning of emotional renewal, like the heart beginning to open up again. So maybe some of you are in a relationship with someone. Some of you, it could be a new relationship. Some of you, if this is for a romantic relationship, for some of you it could be brand new, and it's the past baggage you're carrying with you that's kind of stopping you from moving forward. I feel like a lot of you, in a love romance situation, you're in a relationship with someone that you've been in a relationship for a while. But you're holding on to a lot of stuff perhaps from past relationships or even difficulties you've had in this relationship that's preventing you from moving forward. And ultimately, I feel like you're not speaking, you're not sharing enough verbally with this other person. I feel too like some of you, and again, you can reverse this, although I feel like for the majority of you, the energy is about you. Oh, please don't shoot the messenger. This is just what I'm getting quite strongly. Some of you may be withholding that you love the person. You may be afraid to say, I love you. I want you. I need you in my life. I want to, And there's all this stress and anxiety and worry hanging over it. Maybe somebody is unsure whether they want to continue in a relationship, or maybe somebody has left or is threatening to leave or something of that kind. And you want to hold on to it and you're worried and stressed about it, but there's something keeping you from moving forward. I think for many of you, it's about your past. Let's pull some clarifying cards here about this situation. And it's interesting because just like Leo, I think this is more about a personal relationship than anything else. But I mean, it can always resonate in different areas. And the relationship might be a romantic relationship. It might be, a best friend or another close relationship of some kind. It could be, the start or the opportunity or potential for the start of a new job or a new career path or a new project of some kind as well. And you're holding on to a lot of fears, maybe from past failures or negative experiences, that's keeping you from moving forward into it and exploring this next level or this opportunity to move forward. Although I feel like for many of you, it's relationship. Let's pull some clarifying cards. What is this about? Ooh. Judgment and the Tower. Judgment in this situation, Aries. Judgment represents basically an opportunity to make a choice about something, to choose something one way or the other. This is about not keeping it inside. What does it mean to be judged? I mean, you can see this archangel blowing his horn. You're being called to something. And that's what judgment means. You're being called to answer for yourself, which means that you have an opportunity with judgment to make a decision or a choice and to speak. And you're going to be held responsible for that. Positive, negative, whatever. You're going to be held responsible for what you choose, what you say, what you decide, any action you take or don't take. Judgment has an air of finality, meaning that whatever you choose, one way or the other, or don't choose, one way or the other, is going to be the reality you have to live with. Judgment can represent a second chance, a reconciliation, but it's an opportunity for you to make a choice, and you're going to have to live with that choice. It's not going to be able to reverse easily. Judgment, when it represents an opportunity or a second chance, it usually represents that this opportunity is not going to come around again. So it's pretty significant, pretty profound what you choose to do or not to do in this situation. And for those of you for whom there's an opportunity to do something that represents another shot at something or someone, the implication is that you might want to think about making a different decision or taking a different path than you did previously, or doing it in a different way. The Tower card represents a life-changing event, something that comes in and shakes everything up. So I feel, Aries, like there is an opportunity here. You have a very significant opportunity that Spirit is handing you that's going to make a difference in the message you give to the world outside of yourself and what you tell yourself is important to you and who you are moving forward. And this could completely change the course of your life, what you choose to do with this. I know it sounds very significant and profound, but that's what I'm getting. There's an opportunity here to change the course of the next quite significant period of your life, if not the rest of your life, in what you choose to do, in speaking up, in doing something different, perhaps in letting go, opening up with these thoughts, with these emotions, letting go of some of this past, perhaps, baggage of negative experiences that you're attaching to something in front of you that maybe doesn't need to be attached, and taking a chance, perhaps. Let's pull an advice card or two from Spirit for Aries, our lovely Rams, for the first half of October. Advice and guidance for Aries. This feels like a crossroads that's a real, I mean, most crossroads are game changers, but this one feels very significant, like for the rest of your life, kind of significant. Ooh. Okay, so we have, as advice from Spirit during this time, we have strength and you, the King of Wands, Aries, regardless of whether you're female or male. Strength is about facing your fears. You can't make this stuff up. Strength is about facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, wrestling with your demons, your shadow self. Our shadow selves are those deep, dark parts of ourselves that we don't want anybody to look at. We don't want anybody to know about. We don't even like to look at them ourselves. It's about, you know, ripping the curtains open, letting the light in, lifting the blanket under the bed to see if there really is a boogeyman or if it's just some dust bunny or something under there. This is about having, and it takes a lot of strength, you know, and wrestling with our demons can represent not only looking at our fears and insecurities, but where they come from, you know, and maybe things about ourselves that we do or have a tendency to do, or patterns of behavior that we don't really like and we don't like to look at. And we don't like other people to look at. And it can take a great deal of strength and courage and insight and wisdom and humility, true humility, to look at that and to deal with it and say, maybe it's time I change this and I let go of what was keeping it there in the first place. But strength, courage, and wisdom is what you gain more of by going through this process. It's what's enabled this woman to, oh so loosely, tame this lion, what this lion represents. And she is now moving forward in motion, head held high, moving forward courageously. Courage doesn't mean without fear. In fact, courage and bravery would not exist without fear. Fear is the mother of bravery, and it's what births courage. Otherwise, what would there be, if you weren't afraid of something, what would there be to be courageous about? Courage comes when you are afraid, and you have the strength to face that and walk through it. And you have so much more of it when you get to the other side. And be who you are. Be the King of Wands. The King of Wands, regardless of what he was or she was afraid of, would face it. They would face it. They would figure out how to deal with it. They would do that, and then they would move through it. And that's what you're being advised to do here, Aries. When strength comes up as advice, it represents that whatever you choose, it often represents that whatever choice you make, don't let fear be what makes the decision for you, because then it's not you really making the decision. You, the beautiful, fiery who you are. It's fear, and you don't want fear to be your ruler. Everybody has fear, but fear should be the horse that you ride, Aries, not the other way around. Powerful reading, Aries. I can't wait to see how this plays out for you. So Aries, that is your reading for the first half of October 2019. I hope that those of you that watched it and resonated for you found something in it that was useful and helpful to you. If this video or any of the videos resonate for you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something and schedule a personal reading, just click on the description link below for more info and contact details. Email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I offer all different types of readings in all the main areas of life, all different types and lengths and costs: love and romance, relationship compatibility, career, work and finance, investment, gift reading, 6 and 12-month life overviews to see what's coming over the next 6 or 12 months, and a few other things as well. And you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and those links are provided when you click on the description link below. So I will see you all again, Aries, in a couple of weeks for the October 2019 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. And I truly hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.